What's up, traders? This is Vee Trades, and today we'll be doing a technical analysis breakdown for Hive, Hut, and Bitfarms. I will first be going over what I see in the daily chart and finish the video off with the weekly chart. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Please trade at your own risk. So I'm going to look at three mining companies for Bitcoin. I think they only mine Bitcoin. Might be mistaken. Yeah, I think they only mine Bitcoin. But either way, let's take a look at the chart and figure out what's going on. What price has done, what is it doing, and where it's most likely headed. So what it has done is basically just trade sideways for quite a bit of time, and now finally, all of a sudden, towards the end of the cycle, we see a move up higher, and supposedly, it could be topping out. So this stock right here, Hive, let's go look at the trend line angles and see if it has topped or not. Well, it looks like the trend line was first moving at this kind of angle, and then the bulls got stronger, right? They got more aggressive. So we had the second angle, we came back to the third angle, but we did break the fourth one. So this was the fourth one, and right when we broke that, we already saw a massive drop down, high to low. That's about a 36% drop thus far. So can we hold this third one and make another push up higher, something like that? Yes, but at the same time, there is this bearish trend line in play right here. So you would have to see a break of this bearish trend line, potential maybe a higher low confirmation, and then you probably see higher prices. It is right back at the breakout zone as well. So if you draw a horizontal level right around that breakout zone, I mean, you can argue that we are below it, maybe something like that, because resistance was right over here, right over here. And price is technically below it, so that's not the greatest sign for the bulls. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's really hard to say. I don't think there's any setup to do, like take a long or take a short. You just have to wait and see what happens. But overall, it did definitely had a blow off top. That doesn't mean it will be the top permanently. We can still make a new one, but typically at this late stage, mostly like a range pattern, as you can see here, right near the highs, made a new high, sold off pretty strongly. I mean, typically, there's a good chance for this being a top. It's not like a 50-50. It's probably like 65-70% that this has been a top and we won't see it recover. So again, I think a higher probability is this has been a top and we're going to continue to do the decline from here. I think the lower probability is definitely still on the table, is that yes, we still see another run up higher. And if you look at mesh move targets, I think we pretty much hit one. So this is all one large leg right here. And then we saw the massive run up, do one massive leg up, and pretty much right near the mesh move target. Obviously, it overexceeded it because it was really bullish, but right around, it was basically two legs up. One leg up right here, second leg up. So mesh move met, overexceeded, blow off top, into these prior highs, large sell off, late cycle stuff. So I mean, overall, I'd say it's more likely not we've seen a top for this. But again, it's always on the table. If we somehow hold the third trend line, then be open to higher prices. Same thing for HUD. A lot of these mining companies are correlated. It's just like currencies for forex. Typically you'll see the same pattern play out for multiple currencies. So we have 1, 2, third angle. This one also had a large drop. Let's take a look at that right now. About 32%. About the same, exactly the same chart. All these have pretty much exactly the same chart. So anyway, there's a lot of correlation going on. This one not as bad as the other one. You can see that it broke past its prior highs by a large amount. And this one probably has a better chance, even though, they are correlated. I don't know. Sometimes, you might see some divergence. This one looks like to be in a better position for some reason. It hasn't really had that fourth angle. Looks like we have 1, 2, 3. We didn't really get to see the fourth one. Like this one was a lot more steeper. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And then this one is below the prior resistance level. This one is not really below anything. Technically above it. So overall, this one looks like it could be ready for, another high, surprisingly. So I'm not saying we will. This can also just be a top like the other mining company, but this one has a good chance of making another run up higher. So keep an eye on this third trend line. Let's see if it holds. Bitfarms, this one also looks like a little toppy. Trend line kind of below it. If he's kind of off of it, we're kind of breaking it, maybe back testing for resistance and then selling off. We're below the bearish trend line. This one right here was also below it, but it was definitely overextended. The sell off, it got a little bit of overextension there. So this one, 2 legs up as well. It's above, resistance. It came back to that breakout zone, something like that. So it is above that level. You can drag it up a little bit higher. So overall, I'd say a lot of these mining companies are more likely than not topped out, but it's not game over yet, right? No one knows. The price can always recover, right? Even if we drop like 50%, I've seen 50% drops in bull markets and then it recovers, right? If you go to like Bitcoin in like 2017, let's just take a look at that right now. Bitcoin, let's take a look at the weekly charts. Let's go back to 2017, right about here. I mean, this had, significant drops as well for that run up higher, and you never know which one was the top. Like this one right here, from the high of this month to the low, that was a 29% drop as well. This one right here was a 40% drop, and we still went up higher. So, the same thing for the mining companies. We could be right here. Like it could look like a exponential blow off top, 40% drop, but then all of a sudden we recover. So no one really knows, for sure. So we're just making an assumption of what can happen. So let's go back to Hive. So yes, this can look like a blow off top, but it can also recover. But overall, this one not as bullish as the other charts. So this one has probably a better chance of topping out. Hut, let's take a look at the weekly chart. Definitely pulling back, maybe just getting rid of that overextension, and then it could be ready for another leg up higher. So it's just one of those chances you got to take. Are you going to risk it? Are you that type of trader to hold no matter what, and try to get out as much as you can, even if you do see a large drop? You're like, okay, well, I'm not going to get phased. I think it's still going to run up. Or are you the type of trader or investor that's like, all right, this is good enough. Most likely we have top. So everyone's different. Take a look at the weekly chart. For this stock, Bitfarm, BITF, again, this one's kind of pulling back to the breakout zone, getting rid of some overextension. It could be prime for another leg up higher, maybe back up to these prior highs back here in 2021. So who knows exactly what? No one knows for sure. Show me someone who knows exactly what's going to happen in the future, and I'll give you $1,000,000 because you're not going to be able to. No one knows for sure. You just look at the chart and predict what's most likely going to happen, and typically, I'd say it's more likely than not we have topped, but there's that 30 to 35% chance that hey, we do see another run up higher, depending on how strong the bounce is. If it's kind of a weak bounce, we're not going to probably see a run up higher. We'll probably have seen a top take place, but if it's a very strong bounce, there's a good chance we will see a new high for these mining companies. But overall, I think it's throwing some red flags, right? Like you're kind of pushing the stock past its limit. You kind of like if you're in a car, you're like right at the red line. Yeah, we can go faster, but you're right at the red line, right? You can also obviously the engine can explode too. So that's what you can look at these stocks as. You're basically redlining the car to try to push it towards 200 miles per hour. You might squeeze out another couple miles per hour, but the chance of it exploding is pretty high. So that's what this chart is basically telling me, right? That's an analogy for like, yeah, we had a massive run up. We can continue higher, but I mean, it's kind of pushing it, right? So we'll see what happens, but that's all I have today. This is Vee Trades. Thank you for your time.